Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you're new here, my name is Therese. My husband and my son and I, we live on a homestead in the Ozark Mountains of Arkansas, and we just like to get together every once in a while with y'all and share what we're doing. So today, what we are doing, I had it on my agenda to do, and I thought, well, I might as well just share it with y'all, is I'm going to make a plantain salve. We have had a lot going on here with bug bites in the last couple of weeks to a month. Kevin's got chigger bites. I've gotten a spider bite. Andrew's got bit by a tick. He also ran into some poison ivy, which that's a little bit of a long story, probably for another time. But today I thought I better get on it and I better make up our plantain salve. Okay, before we get started, I kind of wanted to go over, I wrote down some notes. I love making this salve. We use it. It is great. And I kind of know general usages for it, but I thought for all y'all that like details and that actually appreciate getting to the core of why we do things, that I would do a little research for you. So I did make a few notes I'm going to kind of read for you and talk to you about the plantain plant. So the plantain leaves are naturally rich in something called allantoin, albumin, and iridoids. So these compounds, they promote skin cell regeneration, and they also provide a germicidal effect. So when they're infused in a carrier oil, such as olive oil, which is what I did with this, and combined with beeswax, which we have here, the salve creates a protecting moisture barrier. So this locks in those healing compounds and is great for helping promote skin health and healing. So the uses, of course, like I mentioned, we use it personally during this time of year for bug bites, but you can also use it for when you have abrasions and scrapes and cuts. It'll prevent bacterial infection. It helps with that. Of course, like we mentioned, the swelling and the stinging and the itching of mosquitoes and bee stings and wasp stings and all those irritating bug bites. This salve is going to help with the poison ivy. It's going to help with eczema. It's going to help with dry, chapped skin. It's just a wonderful, nourishing salve to have on hand, and it's super easy to do. This salve also has the ability to have drawing properties to it, which means if you have a splinter, it can help draw that splinter out. So it's just overall a great product that you can make with something you go out to your backyard and get, and we're going to find out in a minute how easy it is to do. I did want to mention that there are hundreds, I guess, when I had researched this, up to like 200 different types of plantain. What we have most commonly here in my yard is the broadleaf plantain and the narrow leaf plantain, so which is called the greater plantain and the ribwort plantain. So those are the two that I used in this infusion here. So now that kind of the whys are out of the way and the uses for it, we'll get going on how to actually make it. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to start up a pot of water on the oven on my stove top. Just get it going, warming up, and I'll show you how we're going to use this later, but my oven takes a little bit to get going to get things heated up, so we'll start with that first. So the first thing that I did, and I've already done this part, but it's very simple to explain and do, so I'll go ahead and do that, is I went out and I harvested my plantain leaves. I harvested it from sections that I knew had no pesticide, no chemicals that we've added to them. I brought them inside, rinsed them off, and I dried them. You can tie them up and hang them up to dry them. You can dry them on very, very low temperatures, like your lowest set in your oven. You can also use a dehydrator to do this process. For me, I just air dried them, and then I put them in this quart jar, and I topped it with a 100% awesome olive oil. And it's been sitting in here for quite some time now. You want to do about 4 weeks is what you're shooting for with this. So that is how you start the process. Now I just have a standard 4-cup measuring cup, but you could use any bowl. I've got some muslin, but you could use cheesecloth, and I'm just going to strain my liquid here, my oil. We're just going to get that straining. And make sure I get everything out of it. You can hear how dry these leaves were, which is perfect. You don't want to have a lot of moisture in it. Kind of like I did the lard video, anytime you've got water content in these types of things, it can promote spoilage. And so these leaves were very, very dry when I put them in, and you can still hear how dry and crispy they are. I just put my leaves in whole. Some people like to crush them after they're dried before they put the oil in. I just leave mine whole. So we're gonna let it finish draining. So I have my clean mason jar, my food grade scale. I'm gonna turn on my scale, put my jar and my funnel. I'm gonna tare out to 0. Also set this to grams, that's what I have it set to. Then I'm gonna quickly pour this liquid in, and we're gonna see how many grams we have. We have 619 grams, 620 grams, and we're gonna add in 15 grams of beeswax per 100 grams of oil. So that's a total, I'm gonna go with about 92 grams of this beeswax here. As you can see, I don't have a lot of room left in this jar. So we're gonna do this together. We're gonna see if I need to shift this to a bigger jar or if I can make it work. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn back on my scale. It's zeroed out to 0 right now. And then I'm gonna start adding my beeswax until I hit 90 grams. That right there is 23. I think we're gonna be good, guys. We're halfway there, 46. $71. This is 84, so we'll add just a little bit more. We're at 90 now. Because we had 620, I'm going to add just a little bit more of the beeswax. Okay, it's 93, we'll go with that. And I'm going to show you the next step, so come on over to the stove with me, guys. So I have turned off the water, so it's just hot water that was kind of starting to simmer. I'm gonna get a spatula or spoon and start stirring. This little spatula here will work real well. So I'm just gonna start stirring until all that beeswax is melted in. So at this point, you could use a double boiler. I don't have one, so to clarify, what I have done here is I have brought the water up to about 175. The beeswax melts at a temperature between 145 and 175. You don't want to take it over 185. So that's what we are doing. We're just gonna stir it to help promote and get this melted. And when it's done melting, I will bring you back and we'll show you what we're gonna do next. So we've continued to stir, and Kevin came up with this idea to make sure everything was melted by using the flashlight. And you can see we're just about there. Everything's very small that's in there. So when we don't see anything floating around, when we don't see the beeswax floating around anymore in there, we'll know that we're done. But I just wanted to share with you this little flashlight trick to make sure that everything gets combined and melted together. So we've got everything melted, and we're going to go ahead and get them put in our jars and the lids on, and the finished project will be ready to go. Now this just has to sit up. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to put the lids on to see if they'll seal up a little bit from the heat right now. We'll come back in a couple hours and I'll show you what it looks like when it's all cooled. It's as easy as that to make your own salve to help with insect season. Bug season. I want to thank you all for stopping by the homestead today and joining me while I made our salve for this year. And join us again next time. We look forward to seeing you then. Catch you on the next one. Bye.